welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. I'm the Clumsy Stitcher both here on YouTube and over on Instagram as well. As you can see, we've also got a little guest here today in the obscene cat tower. That is Ella. She may or may not calm down. I have no idea. She's been a bit mental this morning, so she might be going in for a snooze. I am back today with my monthly wrap-up. It is the 6th of March, I'm filming this. And it's been quite a good month for stitching, I think, to be fair, overall. It's hard to think back to... February just feels like it's flown, so I feel like I haven't done very much. But actually, when I've now got this all together, it's actually quite a lot. So we've got quite a lot of good stitchy content for you today. First things first, I just wanted to say again a huge thank you to everybody who has watched my videos so far. If you've commented and liked, it's really, really appreciated. And I genuinely can't believe that we've nearly got 2,000 subscribers here already. It's just absolutely mental how gracious you've all been and your support. So thank you so much. I really appreciated all of your comments a couple of weeks ago on my finishes, especially the Dimensions kits. I am really proud of them, and it was really nice being able to share those with you and getting some genuinely really lovely comments. So thank you so much. So other than starting a Flosstube, there isn't really very much else to say about the month of February. The UK is still in a national lockdown. We have now been told, the government has announced our roadmap, I suppose, to be able to get us to the other side. But we've still got quite a long way to go, I think, before being able to open up fully. So I've just been sewing and working and reading, basically, has been, and a bit of wedding planning actually as well, because we've realised we've been living in denial a little bit. We had to postpone our wedding last year for the summer, and I think both of us have kind of felt like it was never really going to happen. But now with the government's announcement, we've realised it actually is happening. And so we need to plan all this stuff again, because we had to rebook a lot of vendors after rescheduling. So that's been a bit stressful, but all very exciting, I think, really in the grand scheme of things. Something I have really been enjoying the last week is the March Madness event hosted by the Steel City Stitchers. I'm sure a lot of you know about this already. A lot of people have been joining in. Unfortunately, I've not been able to join, but it's been really exciting kind of picking everybody's projects that are going to advance in the polls on Instagram. If you haven't heard of it, I'll link the Steel City Stitchers video below so that you can check out their explanation of it. But it's essentially like in sports where they have teams against each other, and whoever wins goes down the bracket, and then you have kind of like the final. And the aim is to have a finish or a fully finished object by the end of the month. So that's been really, really good fun, seeing everybody's kind of whips or new starts, and loving watching everyone's videos on that as well. It has been really, really good fun. I also just wanted to shout out a couple of other Flosstubers that I've really been enjoying the last month. One of these has been mentioned in an awful lot of videos, and that is Darcy Cameron. He does loads of full coverage pieces that are all absolutely gorgeous, but his videos are just so funny. It's a really good almost juxtaposition where he'll have this really deep conversation about stitching and like what stitching means and the potential for stitching and all of this. And then he'll just have a dick joke, and it's such a funny juxtaposition. It's so entertaining. So I'd absolutely recommend checking him out. Another one is Morgan, who is the Honeybee Stitcher. She works on a lot of projects that I really like she did Hello Dear, for example, as well, which I did. She's been working on the Dark Queen of the Sow recently, and I'm absolutely loving watching that project develop. She's also started finishing things, and I've been finding that quite inspirational, because obviously I need to start finishing things. So it's been really good to see her finishes and progress with that side of things as well. But I definitely recommend checking her out. She's a really good watch. So let's get into my stitching for the last month. I've been umming and ahhing about the order I was going to show these in, and I felt like I was then just ended up ranking my projects, which felt a bit unfair, really. So I think I'm going to start with I'm going to start with my starts. Let's start from the very beginning, after all. I did have a start and a finish this month. I have done it's one of the Celebration Smalls that Liz Matthews is releasing in her newsletter. So it's a freebie. And she released this one, I think this must have been the January one. and it's this. So I did the small version of this. She did do another one. This is the Hope Celebration small. I've stitched this on. I don't know if you'll be able to see the linen colour very well because it was quite bright again this morning. I've stitched this on Rubescent by Chromatic Alchemy. It's 32 count. And I've stitched it with DMC 930 2/2. But I just think this is so cute. And it was a really, really fun stitch. I stitched in hand as well, so I got to practice that technique again. But I really like how this has turned out. Actually, this kind of leads me quite neatly, I suppose, onto a video I watched recently by Beth Chadwick. First of all, go and check her out. She's got an absolutely gorgeous Lord of the Rings project that she's doing at the moment, and I love her updates on that. But she was talking the other day about what do you do with all your finished projects if you're not going to hang them up? Because I think her and I are quite similar in that anytime we've been doing a project, it's been for something specific. So we know either where we're going to frame it and hang it or who we're going to give it to. And this is the first time I've ever stitched because I genuinely love stitching and just stitching almost for the sake of it. And just seeing a project and being like, yep, I like that project, I'm going to do it without having to think too much about, oh, but where will it go? What will I do with it? And so on that video, somebody commented about Michelle Bendy's stitching journal. And so I went through and I started watching Michelle Bendy's videos, and I found the journal one in particular really interesting because it's almost like a stitching scrapbook. And I thought about scrapbooking before. I've wanted to start journaling a bit in the past anyway, but it's never been something I've actually stuck with, and it's never been something, and I felt like I had to be doing it on a regular basis to make it worthwhile, which is a bit silly really. So I thought I would have a go at doing a stitching journal, and so this is the first piece that I put in there, and it's been quite good. I haven't felt the pressure to be filling all these pages with random like inane chat about nothing in particular. So I'm just kind of putting things in there like photos of home or kind of future plans and future stitchy plans and all of that kind of stuff, and it's quite nice to have that all together. So at the moment this is just kind of, I've cut an envelope in half and I've just tucked this in an envelope which I've stuck in, so it fits in quite nicely. Maybe once I've done a few more projects to go in the journal I can show you it a bit better, but at the moment it's literally just 2 pages and this is on one of them, so I don't know if there's much point. So it was quite nice doing it so I've just laced it at the back, and I got this lacing tutorial from a Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery video, which I'll link down below as well. So it isn't like, it's not like good quality or anything, I just did it quite quickly. So you can see like there's the bits of gap at the top, but it's just going in my journal, so it's fine. But it does mean that in the future, if I want to make a pillow out of it, I can just snip off this and make a little pillow, which I quite like that option too. So that was my start and finish. So I have another new start. You'll have seen this in my haul in my first video. It is the Merry and Bright pattern by Cottage Garden Samplings. You'll know I wasn't sure whether to start this or not, but then Abby at Abby Bella Stitch started the hashtag Stitch Asia for the month of March, and I just thought it was the perfect time. The designer behind Cottage Garden Samplings is an Asian designer, and as we all know, diversity matters, inclusion matters, representation matters, and so I think this is a really good hashtag to be joining in with this month. You can stitch projects designed by Asian designers or just with Asian motifs and themes, and it's really been good to see everyone's projects, and it's been giving me lots of inspiration and an ever-growing wish list. So this is where I'm at so far. Oop. Just literally the M. I am stitching this on 32 count Belfast linen, vintage Stormy Night. So it's a really nice mottled grey. I said in my first video I was inspired to get this pattern after seeing it on Georgia Girl Stitching's Megan's YouTube channel. And I love the pattern. When she held it up completely finished, it was a lot bigger than I realised it would be. And so I've also been watching a lot of Ymir's videos, who is Almond M&Ms, who I think is absolutely fantastic. And she does a lot of 1/1 stitching on really high count fabrics. So she does 1/1 on 56 count, for example. And so I thought I would give it a go at doing 1/1 on 32 count and just see how I get on, because then I can still stitch the pattern, but it isn't so big that I can't do anything with it afterwards. So I don't know if I'll be able to zoom in at all, but you might be able to see the teeny tiny little stitches there. But I am actually quite enjoying doing the 1/1. I think it looks really dainty, and you can kind of fudge it a bit, to be honest with you. So you can just kind of make it look more natural. But I've been really enjoying that. I look forward to keeping on with that as well. I think I might make this a focus piece this month, just to get some good progress on it over the course of March. I've just realised I forgot to say, the called for floss in that pattern is All Weeks Dye Works, but because I'm stitching 1/1 on 32 count, I just didn't really see the point in getting over dyed floss, because I just don't think you'll be able to see that much variegation. So I'm doing the DMC conversion, and then also where I didn't have the DMC in my stash, just picked another colour that was a bit similar. So I might end up changing them as we go, but I just wanted to get started on it straight away. Another new start I had this month, is again something I showed in my first video, and it is the well-rounded pinwheel perennials by Hands On Design. So I made a start on the spring motifs. There are 3 for each season, and I've managed to finish 2 for spring so far, and I'm nearly done on the 3rd one. I have absolutely loved stitching these, so I'll show you them as a whole, and then we'll do each one individually. So that's all 3 of them. I just absolutely love them. I'm really pleased with my choice of linen as well. This is the first time I've picked my own linen that isn't just white, and so I was a bit worried about the colours and what if they didn't go, but I am really pleased with how they've turned out. So I'm just getting it ready just to show you the first motif. That's this one. So this is stitched on a 32 count linen in the colourway Midas from Chromatic Alchemy as well. And I think it's just absolutely stunning. I am really pleased with how it's all turned out. This is the second one. Spring Bouquet. I had to redo this entire banner because I missed a line of stitches, and so the letters didn't come out properly, and I didn't realise for ages. I did go I went in the sin bin for a little while then, but really love it now it's done. And then the final motif is the one I'm nearly finished on. Let me just fold it up again, sorry. There we go. So we've got the little house over here and the bird. And then I'm just missing across the top, there's a big flower here, and then a branch on the top. So it won't take me too long to finish, because I did want to have this ready for spring. But I was hoping to get the finishing kit, so you can get the the hoops. Oh, sorry, it's a bit shiny. The hoops to put them in with the bow on top. And they're normally sold at Patchwork Rabbit, but they've been sold out since December. So I don't know. I don't know if I can request them to be ordered in, or if I can just if I should look at an American site. I'm not quite sure. But then somebody on my previous video commented that they've finished them in a banner almost, and I thought that would be quite a good idea as well. But that's them. So I'm really pleased. I've been basically I've been stitching these on my lunch because they're quite small. If you've got 10 minutes, and you can just finish a thread and it makes quite a big difference to the overall pattern. So I've really been enjoying stitching those. Moving on to my whips, which is works in progress. The first one I'm going to show you is Pavan by Long Dog Samplers. I'm going to put a image of the finished piece here, and then I'll show you. Unfortunately, I completely forgot to take pictures last time after I finished my video, so I'm going to have to include a very grainy screenshot of my previous video to show you where it was when you saw it last time. But I will remember today to take photos. So hopefully they will have flashed up over here while I've been talking. This is what I've done since, and it does look a bit random, but I will explain. This is my progress so far. So I think since we last spoke, I finished this big motif. I filled in the stitches that I've missed up here. I really love this, and I've started this little one up here. But basically, I'm normally a middle stitcher, and so I never really worry about my fabric, because if I start in the middle, then I know it shouldn't touch either side. But for this one, I decided to start in the top left. I wanted to challenge myself a little bit, and start in the top left corner up here. But I've basically just been panicking for the last 2 months that I've counted my stitches wrong and I've measured wrong and it's never going to fit. And I just was being really silly about it. And so I decided to just stitch all across the top and get to the other side. Because I also had loads of excess fabric like over here, which was just getting like a bit messy. And so I wanted to cut it off and serge the edge. Just so that this could be the finished size. And so I just did like the top of the motifs across, did the motifs across the top just to be able to get to the other side. And so now I'm going to work the way back, filling in the motifs, and then I think I'll start going down. Although I think this piece does feel quite versatile, because I think if I get a bit bored of filling in the top, then I can just come down and just do like an individual motif in the middle and then just go back up to the top again. So it will completely depend how I'm feeling at the time. But I am still really enjoying working on this piece. I think the sun's come out a bit now, so you can see that the blue does really stand out. It's quite vibrant against the white. I'm stitching this on so I got 32 count linen. It's an opalescent linen. I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell. In the colourway Flecked Snow. So it's basically like a white base with bluey, glittery stuff in it, basically. So yeah, that's where we're at for that one. And now we're on to my big full coverage whip. I wasn't sure if I was going to show this again to you today, because I felt like if I was just doing lots more grey, you can't really tell that there's that much difference to it. But we have reached an exciting milestone, so I am going to show you, and I hope you enjoy. This is what the final piece will look like. It's called Margarita Dragon. The artwork is by Stanley Morrison. The kit is put together by Pain Free Crafts, and I got the kit in an 18 count white Ada with all the called for threads. I'll put a picture up here again. It'll just be a grainy still from my last video. I do quite like seeing these in other people's videos. I think especially with full coverage, I think it's sometimes I just quite like having that frame of reference. So that's where it was. I've got it here. I've just realised I haven't done anything with my threads. 1 second, sorry. I'm still parking, and so they're a little bit all over the place. Okay. This is where I am now. And we've got colours, which is very exciting. I've just been stitching grey for I don't even know how many months now. And so we're back. This is the wing, and it kind of just joins up down here, which has been quite fun to get. I don't know, is there somebody who can explain? I don't know if like brain scientist or just someone who stitches a lot of full coverage pieces. Can you please explain why I was so excited to be stitching in colour? because it's exactly the same mechanics. You're just doing one stitch at a time, but for some reason I saw blue and I was just so happy, and I don't understand why. I really cannot understand when it's exactly the same process why I was so excited to just have a different colour. If anybody knows why, please let me know. I'll show you, zoom in a little bit. So when I first got to here, I was worried that the chart was wrong, because I just couldn't understand why there was some black in there again. And then slowly it all kind of took shape. It has been quite frustrating to stitch, I'm not going to lie. For example, in this like 10 by 10 area, I counted, and I think in 100 stitches they were 30 different colours. And so there were some which literally you were doing one stitch, you were doing two stitches. And because I've been parking, some of them, you'll see that's why I've just got so many more threads now, because they've introduced that many more colours in such a small space. But some of them, you couldn't carry them. They were too far away, and so you're just threading your needle for one stitch. So it was getting a bit frustrating. But I think the effect, obviously at the end, will just be fantastic. Sorry, that sun is really quite bright now. Come on, Manchester, you're supposed to be rainy all the time. What are you doing to me? So I use Pattern Keeper for most of my charts. It's an app that you can get on Android devices, and you upload a PDF of the chart into the app, and you highlight stitches as you would if you were using paper, and you can also indicate where you've parked your threads as well. It just kind of highlights in one of the corners where you've parked, and I've been finding that really useful. Something else I quite like about Pattern Keeper is that it gives you your stats as to how much progress you've made. So for those of you that are interested, if you sew a lot of full coverage, or if you're just interested in general, I have some stats here for you. This whole piece will be 114,450 stitches. I am currently at 21,545, which means I am 18.82% done, which feels deceptively close to 20%. There you go. So you'll see here as well, I'm meant to be going that way, but I've done these stitches already. And it's because the wing, obviously it curves around this way, and so I can't go that way with the blue because there is nothing that way, it's all this way. And so I thought I'm now kind of going in both directions at once. So I'm starting with the wing when I'm coming down to a new row, doing the row backwards and parking, and then I'm filling in the blanks here and aiming that way, if that makes sense. I don't think it will. I'm not sure. I think I only understand it when I'm doing it, to be honest. It makes sense when I'm doing it, but trying to explain it doesn't sound like it makes any sense. But that's something that I quite like. I quite like the way Darcy Cameron explains it, because obviously he does a lot of full coverage, and you see all these videos about the different ways people do full coverage. And he's very much an advocate of finding the way that suits you, and then you just do it. Don't get too wrapped up in... Obviously, it's good. Obviously, YouTube is really handy for like getting tips and ideas. But if you find a way that suits you, then don't think too much about it and just do it, essentially. So I've just kind of been doing it, and I am enjoying the way it's... I may have overcomplicated things massively, but I'm just really enjoying the way it's turning out. And I'm managing to keep track of it. So for the time being, I think I'm just going to stick with it. So yeah, that was my Margarita Dragon. So the last piece is the one I'm most proud of, I think. It's the one I focused on this month. Whitley's, if you're watching, you may want to skip ahead unless you want to ruin the surprise for your daughter. This is the piece I am doing as a kind of birth announcement piece, I suppose. It's the Winnie the Pooh drawing. I am not going to show you the picture because I have finished it. Woohoo! Or finished for now, I suppose. I've done all of the drawing, I've added my quote, I haven't got the birth information on there because I'm not comfortable sharing that on YouTube anyway, to be honest with you. And the christening now isn't for a few months given the whole lockdown situation. So I'm just going to finish it a bit closer to the time with her name and birth date and weight and everything like that before I frame it. But here is where we are. Da, 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 da. I am so happy with this. I think it is so cute, and it is exactly the kind of design I was looking for when I was aiming for a Winnie the Pooh theme. And the quote I've gone for at the bottom is, "How do you spell love?" said Piglet. Pooh replied, "You don't spell it, you feel it." And it's just a quote I've loved for a long time. And I just thought it was quite apt for a kind of baby sampler. So I am so chuffed with this. It's been quite fun going back to Ada as well, if I'm honest with you. It's been really good. This is a chart I got from Hobbycraft in the UK, so I'll link that down below. I just absolutely love this. Yeah, I don't know if I have very much more to say. Just going to hold it here. Everyone can enjoy. Brilliant. I even ironed it for you guys. I mean, how good am I? That's not going to be a common occurrence, just a forewarning. Something else I have been working on this month is a bit of stitchy admin work. I don't know if you ever feel like sometimes you just need to get a bit of admin done before you can actually keep working on your projects. One of the whips I haven't showed you yet. It's kind of like an ongoing series of starts and finishes because it's a group of 24 ornaments. It's the Brooks Books Advent Animal series, and I'll link that down below. All of the charts are free, and I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I saw this on Nell, who is Yellow House Crafts channel. She did all of these animals separately and then uses them as the advent calendar for her and her children. And I just really loved that idea. And so I thought the designs are so cute, so I just thought I'd give them a go. So I've done 4 so far. This is number 1. This is number 2. And so you'll see I haven't done the number on this one yet because I did the number for this and I changed the number a little bit anyway, but I just didn't really like it. And so I didn't do the number for this one because I was still undecided about what I was going to do. This is number 3, who is adorable. And this is number 4. And I have done the number on this one. So I bought myself some Krynic for the first time. So I've got some like shiny red Krynic to do the number. And I really like that. And I'm definitely going to go back and do that on all of them. I think that I might, because I only did 1 strand. And this is 32 count linen. I'm stitching over 2. So I'm thinking I might try and go back in. And I don't know whether to unpick and start again or just do another layer on the top because I don't want it to be too bulky either, so that's just something I've got to figure out. But all of these are stitched on a 32 count linen from Lakeside Needlecraft in the colourway Falling Snow and largely with the called for DMC. I absolutely love this linen. I think it's gorgeous. So yeah, so I'd only done those 4. And I decided that I definitely want to continue with the rest of the series. So I bought myself a massive piece of linen, and it basically just needed cutting down. And so I've gone through and I've cut and serged all of my other bits of linen to be able to just pick one up and start it as soon as I want to work on it. And that took longer than I had hoped, essentially, I think. But I'm always a bit nervous about measuring, and so I was trying to make sure everything would still fit. Well, because there were a couple of ways I tried, where I could only get 18 and I needed to get 20. And I was being quite stubborn and I was like, I'm not going to buy another massive piece of linen for 2 little ornaments. And so I just had to keep measuring and measuring and pinning and measuring and to make sure that they would fit in the little squares I cut out. But hopefully you'll see a few of those in the future. I set myself the goal of completing 6 this year. So I'm not currently in any rush, but I will be working on them definitely at some point. And now we move on to haul. So I've bought a few charts this month. So last time in my Flosstube Extra, I showed you my Aurora cabin, which was Dimensions Gold Kit. And I've seen this one that I bought now online a few times, and I just thought they complemented each other really well. So I could sub them in depending on the month, or could have them next to each other and they would just be, they would just look really good next to each other. I got this, which is called Cabin Fever. It's a Dimensions Gold Kit, like I said. I just think it will, yeah, I just have loved this piece for quite some time. So it does come fully kitted up with all the threads and the Ada. I have no idea when I'm going to start this, to be honest, but I had a voucher on Amazon and I wanted to spend it. So that's my first piece of haul. The other 2 patterns that I bought are PDF downloads. I would have printed them off, but our printer is actually just shit, and so I didn't. I'm going to put a picture up here. The first one I got is the Bookcase by Guyana Crosstich. I have looked at this pattern for so long. It's been in my Etsy favourites for so long. And recently the designer announced a discount code on her Instagram because she reached 1,000 followers. And I was just immediately on Etsy like, yes, I have to have this now. It's been really interesting seeing everyone's different takes on it, because some people are just stitching it monochromatically and it just looks gorgeous. And some people are stitching all the books different colours as well. And it's just, you can really make it your own. And so I'm really excited to start that, but again, not sure when that will happen. I'm still deciding on whether I want to do the bookcase in standard DMC or if I want to try a overdyed floss and get a bit of variation, almost like a grain effect in the wood of the bookcase. We will see. The other pattern I got is Namaste by Ink Circles, and again there should be a picture here. I'd be lying to you if I said this wasn't an impulse purchase. It turns out that having a stitchy journal where you just write random thoughts in, if you've seen a previous cross stitch pattern and you're like, oh, that would look great here, you just buy it. Apparently that's just how it goes. So I kind of wrote a little bit about yoga and how I've been trying to get back into that, and I've always been interested in the chakra points and kind of learning about their significance, and I just saw this piece and I was like, you know what, and I just got it. So I'm excited to start that. Hopefully I'll be starting that this month. I think I might do individual kind of chakra motifs and scatter them throughout my stitching journal. I do want to educate myself a bit more on them as well. So it's a good opportunity to do that too. I think that is everything. I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you've liked seeing more of my projects. I'll be coming back to you in a month's time with an update on my progress. If there's anything that you'd like to see in the meantime, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. Again, if you have any questions or comments, just drop them down below. I've really loved speaking to a few of you in the comments section, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye. A few people have been asking, I thought now is the best time to show you very quickly our little kitten. This is where she's been sleeping the whole video, and I was just going to show you how she's sleeping. This is our little baby Ella. She loves her hammock. Cozy baby.